We start off with a scene of a huge castle. A lot of dead bodies are laying around, with words surrounding them, a mere human making it to this point. I have acknowledged that you are skilled in an excited tone. Two people seems to be facing off against each other. One of them is Demon Lord ranked 7th, Demon Lord Farza. And against him, we have our MC, who claims that his era will come to an end today. His name is Han Jae-woo, also known as Elector Steel. He quickly takes a leap and uses Empirical Sword 12th form. And right before he could land his attack, he gets a notification that he has been disconnected from the server. The Demon Lord quickly catches on the flaw while our boy panics and tells him to stop, only to be split in half by him as he fails the quest. Switching to an apartment, we hear some talks about waking Jae-woo up while he is playing the game. And while they are trying to do so gently, one of them accidentally unplugs the machine. In anger, he grabs the collar of one of them and questions if he was the one who unplugged the Ethernet cable, and he frantically apologizes. But Jae-woo throws a fit that he almost cleared it. A little about himself, he might look like a gaming addict, but he used to be really popular, Hanum's problem solver. Hanum's brain, money goblin. He used to have a great life. But he then realized something. How trivial were all the things that he was so obsessed with. The place that changed him, Super AI Aquila's masterpiece VR game, Savior of Humanity. It's a single-player RPG with a giant open world. For him, who had never even read a picture book, this world was quite magical. Plus, there are beautiful characters of various species. Their stories drew him in and changed him, someone who only used to care about money. And so, he borrowed some money, all in order to buy a game capsule worth $1 billion. He calls himself crazy for this while chuckling like a maniac. One of the guys there asks Jae-woo to not treat him like this since he was the one who invested money so that he can game. But Jae-woo simply continues to smirk while saying, I see, claiming to have covered for them more than just a few times. One of them questions his place to talk when he borrowed $1 billion just for a game. But with a single glare, he quickly scares the guy asking, who asks in a trembling voice, if he is going to pay for all that just by writing a walkthrough for others. We then a compilation of Jae-woo doing various quests and writing them for the walkthrough. He then goes on to check for his bank passbook, but the amount there seems to make him quite anxious. They all once again offers Jae-woo to work for them, since he is the Hanum's problem solver. But he quickly declines, because he haven't seen the ending of this game yet. The true ending that no one has reached yet. Reaching that true ending is the least he can do to repay this world for having taught him so much. He then quickly starts pushing everyone out. They try to ask about the interest that Jae-woo has yet to pay. But he doesn't answer, so they simply leave, citing that they are believing in him. Jae-woo quickly turns back and goes back to his game machine and takes another dive into the game at Byron Cathedral. He has a death penalty on him and is suspended from actions for 22 hours, making him remember that he just got disconnected in his last fight, which makes him annoyed since how is he supposed to earn money then? Suddenly, someone comments to him that he seems to be struggling with something. Looking to his side, we see a string of flowing white hair and someone arriving. In surprise, he asks her, who is she? And she introduces herself as Aquila, the game master of this game. He doesn't believe her at all that a kid like her could be the game master. But she tells him to not judge a book by its cover, though Jae-woo prefers doing that only. But he still doesn't believe, questioning if she really thinks that he would believe her if she appeared out of nowhere and called herself Aquila. And with a sudden snap of her finger, everything around them freezes. Noting that it's a time freeze spell which is at least in triple S rank skill, it comes as quite the shock to him. Though she explains that it's not a skill, but she only slowed down the server a bit. Regardless, she is here to tell him about an event she came up with for the 7th anniversary. Please be the first to clear the game in a new world as a new character. Jae-woo chuckles, knowing that he hasn't even cleared the game as this character yet, and calls her out of her mind for such suggestion. But she quickly announces a reward of 25 billion won. And with a teasing smirk, she asks if he is scared, but his eyes light up in fire as she continues on asking if he don't want to see the true ending of this game, since it might exist. The clues to reaching the true ending, that is. His hands trembles as he tries to reach for the opportunity, but she suddenly tells him to wait. If he gives it a try right now, she would also give him a free gift. and Jaewoo loses his mind over getting 300 million won deposited in his account just like that. With a striking pose, Aquila calls him her VIP, as we see him ranking first on the leaderboards. His eyes shine up, knowing that right now it wouldn't even matter if he is not able to clear the game. He would also be safe for this month's interest payment. And with full excitement, he plans to give it a try, not wanting to become an idiot for missing out such opportunity. Aquila also flatters him by saying that it's as expected of a top player like him, so she would be sending him in right away, and starts reciting some kind of code. Her eyes turns blank, and she seems to be doing some kind of installation. Everything around them completely disappears, leaving only a single door behind, that which would take him into the new world. He confirms once again if the game would start if he just walks through the door, and she affirms. He starts opening the gate, and a golden light shines through it. But before going, he reminds her to not forget about that reward money. And with that, he leaves with a cool pose to get the true ending. And right then, she reminds him that she forgot to tell him one thing. If his character dies in this event, he would die in real life as well. Hearing which, his expression quickly changes, but it's too late. He falls into the new world, right on the ground. It seems to hurt him as well despite being just in the game. It makes him wonder if what Aquila was saying real, which makes him really angry, and he shouts loudly, calling Aquila a bitch. Sometime later, we see him walking around the forest while being thirsty. He is furious at Aquila for his current condition and opens his status window to check stats, only to find them trash and a max HP of only 20. He has also been walking for over half a day now and is already dehydrated. He doesn't understand how the hell is he supposed to get the happy ending with this character. He then suddenly hears the sound of water and finds a flowing stream of river. He thanks Bear Grylls and his book on how to survive and being glad that the game is realistic. He quickly goes on to drink water and regains some of his HP. We then see a flowing deep brown hair, which Jaewoo notices as well. It's a girl in her bathrobe, seeing whom he drools all the water back in the river, though the steam blocks the view and he loses HP for being excited. He wonders, who the hell is that, and tries to get a peek of her, only to get a notification to pay for the DLC, which annoys him to hell that they are making him pay for a DLC despite being a VIP. Suddenly, he is surrounded by a bunch of hotties, telling him that he has to pay up to see what's after this. And with drool still in his mouth, he asks them, how much? A bit later, we see him thrown tied up on the floor. His kidnapper speaks, stay still, lewd brat. And if he keeps quiet, they would consider leaving his pants on. Another guy asks Jaewoo if he is alright, while he still wants them to tell him at least how much. The other guy asks, what does he mean by that? And he replies, nothing. Regardless, the guy introduces himself as Rud, a monster hunter, and Jaewoo refers to himself as Valorstead Valor, and asks how did he end up here? Rud replies that he was unlucky. He ended up coming near the witch's forest while chasing his prey. Rud then asks, how did he end up here? And with nervousness on his face, he replies, it's something like that. And Rud replies that while he is not sure what exactly he went through, it's unfortunate since he still looks young, but Jaewoo calls it fine, because that kind of situation is his specialty. Rud asks if he has some kind of way out, and Jaewoo mentally replies, of course I do, because he is the one who wrote how to defeat those witches. It took him whole 3 days to do that as well. The 5 Witches of Hell. This title was given to them because they make their appearance in the Havel Forest. Their names are Gunda, Kaldura, Aldida, Fugal, and Hijuju. Even though they are early game bosses that players have to get past, thousands have died to them, so they are pretty infamous for that. But with one closer look, you will realize that they are an unorganized bunch. And with an unhinged smile on his face, he seems to be planning something. He suddenly asks Fugal if she's still alive, trying to provoke her, citing that he remembers Lady Hijuju clearly saying that she would kill her, while she tells Jaewoo to keep quiet. Fugal starts to get angry. His provocation worked. She apparently hates Hijuju. Jaewoo continues that he is pretty sure hearing her that she would take all of Fugal's asset after killing her, and Fugal confirms with her if what he is saying is true. Hijuju sighs, asking if she would really believe what he said, much to his nervousness. But Hijuju continues that besides, Fugal is not going to use all her money, so why not give her some? She apparently greeds for Fugal's assets. In between, Aldida jumps in, commenting that it is why Hijuju was making an acid bomb. She apparently cannot read the room. But Gunda doesn't care. She asks if the meal is ready. She has a big appetite. And Caldura, who is excited to see them fight and wants to join in since she loves it. In between their arguments, Jaewoo laughs like a maniac while Rud seems to be scared of him now. One might think that they work as a team due to their title, but they actually don't have any teamwork at all. People fight without knowing this, which is why they manage to kill thousands of players. But it's really easy to make them fight each other. Jaewoo tells Rud that they should take the chance to get out of here, who compliments Jaewoo by saying that he is really something else. But before that, he seems to have another plan in mind. He quickly pulls the rug from below their feet, which makes them fall in the food they were making. They all quickly starts panicking. Jaewoo points the exit to Rud, and they quickly starts to run away while he keeps on getting notification for damage to the witches and XP as well. But he is suddenly caught by a rope. It's Fugel's snake which ensnares his movement. They don't plan to die alone, and we see him trying his hardest to escape from it. He forgot that his character has hella weak stats right now. But Rud jumps in for help and draws his weapon. He quickly cuts the rope and Jaewoo thanks him for the help. He then asks to borrow Rud's bow, and Rud asks if he is good with it, and hands it over while Jaewoo replies, a little. He then shoots the arrow right towards a jar right above their head. It breaks and Hijuju tells them while trembling that it's not good, as it's the acid bomb much to their shock. It slowly starts to fall in the soup much to their fear, and causes a huge explosion, destroying their lair. Rud asks if they got them and Jaewoo tells him to not jinx it. But he does get a notification for defeating the 5 witches and obtains a large sum of XP as well. He drools over it, knowing that he got quite lucky at low level and now he only has to get that. Rud also thanks Jaewoo for helping him and plans to give something to him. It's a gift of gratitude, red dragon fruits, much to his excitement. It's something that he don't remember in his previous playthrough. Since it looked valuable, Rud took it from the witch's nest, and Jaewoo quickly takes it and immediately eats them all. He gets great boost in stats. It's something that a normal player wouldn't even dream of ever getting. Rud then also offers him something, if he is interested in monster hunting. And a notification pops up for him. A relationship route with the monster hunter has been unlocked. Jaewoo quickly declines his offer saying that he got things to do. But suddenly, he realizes that this could be an opportunity for him. He don't have a class right now, so all of his massive experience has nowhere to go, and if he leaves it like this, it would disappear in a month. So, right as Rud is leaving, Jaewoo stops him saying 3 months. Would 3 months be enough? And with a doubtful tone, Rud asks, not 3 years? A bit later, we see both of them heading inside a forest. Rud tells him to head inside and hide wherever he wants. He would come after him in 30 minutes. Jaewoo realizes that he is trying to teach him a monster tracking skill from the hunter skill tree, but he also believes Rud is underestimating him. Because he has explored these forests countless times, he remembers everything, down to the smallest twig. The dense trees that throws off your sense of direction, poisonous spores from scattered toxic mushrooms, and ferocious beasts even more dangerous than the witches. Most of it is already imprinted on his mind, and now with his red dragon fruit, his physical abilities are mostly maxed out. So he don't think Rud would find him easily, only to see Rud indeed finding him too quickly, much to his shock. He gives Jaewoo 50 points and tells him to try harder, and because of passion and efforts he does give him extra points. Jaewoo asks, how did he do it? And Rud replies that his face is saying that he is dying of curiosity. It's been a while since he got such an interesting student to teach, so he takes him with him to give it their best shot. His quest quickly updates from Hunter's Hazing to Hunter's Trial. Completing this quest also grants him various new skills as well. And the massive amount of skills makes Jaewoo give off an unhinged smile. Now fast forward to 3 months later. Rud is surprised to learn that Jaewoo has mastered everything already. But since he doesn't believe him, Jaewoo asks Rud to hide anywhere he wants. Rud pats him on his shoulder and goes into hiding with absolute confidence. But if you don't find him within an hour, he would have to make the dinner tonight, hearing which brings back some bad memories. Rud goes off somewhere to hide, and Jaewoo gives off a creepy grin again. We now see him stuck on a mountain cliff, chuckling and being glad that he has met such an apprentice late in life. But he still don't plan to be too hard on him. He don't believe Jaewoo would find him if he just hides by a cliff, only to get his leg grabbed by him, much to his shock, giving a nice and warm peekaboo to his master as well. Next up, he hides inside a forest, inside a bush, over a tree, only to be found every single time, making him shocked since it took him 5 years to master those skills. Rudd finally decides to go inside a cave, thinking that there is no way he would come all the way here. It's a hellhound's nest after all. But Jaewoo once again appears with a grin on his face, giving off tip number 1 from Guardian of Humanity: even earthquakes won't wake a hellhound. He finally asks Rudd if he passed, and with sweat running down on his face, he agrees. He finds Jaewoo amazing, to be able to master these skills in 3 months, but Jaewoo thanks Rudd for all of this, but Rudd calls it his talent. He still acts humble on the outside, though he was actually leveling up all this skills from the massive amount of XP he got from those witches. Rudd calls him even more incredible for remembering the monster ecology that he gave him, not knowing that Jaewoo is actually the one who wrote it in the first place. He then asks, what would he do now, if it would be the task that he mentioned before? Jaewoo replies that he is going to make some money first, since everything starts with that. Rudd then suggests him to do some mercenary work in that case. He actually has a close friend working as one as well. Jaewoo finds the proposal to be good as well, since it's the go-to-work for early income. Most importantly, it's free and flexible, and he might even meet the guardians of this game if he is lucky. And such, he quickly agrees to do the mercenary work, so Rudd hands him over his old mercenary badge, saying that his friend would recognize it immediately. With this, they both leave, wishing each other luck. He defeated the witches and even got a class. At this rate, he believes that happy ending might not be out of reach for him, reminding him what Aquila told him, if he wants to see the true end and its clues. The logout button is crossed out. Jaewoo calls it the thrill of the game since you never know when you are going to die, but he is planning to make full use of this tension. And with a determined belief, he heads out, swearing to reach the true ending. His quests also gets updated to joining the mercenary group. We now see Aquila, who is laughing her ass off watching something. It seems to be Jaewoo. She finds the way he avoided the witches to be hilarious, and is glad that she kept an eye on him. Suddenly, someone else arrived from behind her, asking Aquila if that's him, and comments that he is indeed not an ordinary guy. In turn, Aquila asks her if she is into him or something in a playful manner. To Valfurga, another goddess seemingly, who replies that she is a god. Why would she look at human who she is supposed to protect in that way? But Aquila argues since he is cute, prompting Valfurga to stare daggers at her. But Aquila finds her boring due to this, at least compared to back then when she was more fun. Valfurga replies that it was a long time ago and asks if she really repaid her debt, and Aquila replies that it was settled ages ago. Valfurga replies that the poor guy doesn't even know that and is still working for it. Aquila agrees and Valfurga calls her ruthless. She finds it entertaining, calling Jaewoo full of life. But Valfurga calls her awful, and she simply thanks her for the compliment. She then asks if he is a part of her plan as well, or just her plaything. Aquila thinks for a moment while chuckling, and replies, more like a promising talent, and tells Valfurga to just keep watching him. Moving back to Jaewoo, he is in an exhausted state, complaining about the forest being too arduous, but with his body, he was able to make it out of it in just half a day. And now, the mercenary corps is right in front of him. He then arrives at Francois Tavern, and the maids there quickly greets him. He blushes seeing them and replies that he is looking for someone, and the maid decides to get him to his seat first. He calls the tavern to be a classic spot for intel gathering, drinks, lively folks, and the amazing smell of food. Here he believes he could get the information he needs, since people always talk more when they are in a good mood. And above all, he finds the waitresses here to be cute. He then asks them if they happen to know someone by the name of Rebes Chaltz. Hearing that name, the mood around the whole tavern quickly shifts. The blonde waitress tells him that the name is forbidden around here. Jaewoo asks the reason for it. Another one replies because he is too dangerous. Her boyfriend got involved with him once, and he became a mummy. Others also suffered because of him, which made Jaewoo questions, just how did Rudd introduce him to? The blonde maid quickly pushes Jaewoo to run out of here before he arrives, much to his confusion, only to collide with someone, whom he asks, who was that? And the guy introduces himself as Rebes Chaltz. He is also quick to notice the mercenary badge from Rudd on Jaewoo and realizes that he must be the guy. Calling it perfect, almost letting out his true intention slip that he wanted a battle slave, but quickly changes it to a companion. Hearing which, makes Jaewoo shiver a bit as he confirms once again what did Rebes just said. Who replies that he was just kidding, but Jaewoo really plans to kill Rudd next time they meet for introducing him to Rebes. In the end, Rebes wants Jaewoo to be a companion to be dragged into the war between the Prince-Elector and the forces of Pezamat. Though Jaewoo feels more like getting conscripted to some army, but still finds it to be a great opportunity. Because the Prince-Elector is a guardian of this game, one of the electors of Paltz. Through him, he might be able to get some information on the other guardians. A horn is blown, and Rebes comments, "Speaking of the devil, here he comes." It's the procession of the Prince-Elector. Seeing whom, Rebes believes that he would fit right in that group, but Jaewoo finds it different than what he expected. Seeing the guy, he wonders if he is the current Prince-Elector on the far side. It reminds him of some kind of villain. He suddenly notices another person as well, much to his surprise. A girl in shining knight armor with blonde hair. Jaewoo recognizes her as Valpurgis. The Prince-Elector asks Valpurgis if there is something wrong. She seemed distracted to him, but she quickly denies, saying that the battlefield awaits as they march forward. She was Jaewoo's companion in his previous playthroughs, but he couldn't save her in any of them. It always ended up in the same way. Seeing his expression, Rebes asks him if something is wrong, which he denies, only to swear to himself that even if it costs him his life, he will reach the ending where she lives. We now move to another place and see a bunch of people sparring with each other. Jaewoo finds the place pretty intense, and Rebes notes that it's already starting. Selecting group leaders through sparring matches, there is money on the line as well. Jaewoo realizes it's all about pride and cash here. But all he needs is to make contact with the Prince-Elector, so he plans to stay quiet for now. But Rebes informs him that he is going to be participating in this as well. Because there is now a way that Rudd would send someone so clueless, he announces it as well, if someone wants to go around with the newbie. Everyone is excited in going up against him first, while he don't even get allowed to object. He is quick to surround by an audience, and his first match is up against Max, who mocks Jaewoo for looking like a twig, though Jaewoo finds his comment foul, since his character pick gets 1,000 likes on StarPick. They both quickly gets ready, and Rebes commences the match. Max quickly rushes towards Jaewoo to attack, only to get his sword flung away. Everyone is quite surprised as we see Max lying on the ground in the next panel, and Jaewoo also gets fame points for it. Everyone gets excited, but Jaewoo calls the result expected since after eating the dragon fruits, his strength is now on par with ogres. But others now wants to find his true strength and gets all excited about fighting him. And our boy defeats all of them one by one in a single hit each. A bald mercenary then shows up, Charlotte, who calls everyone out for embarrassing themselves in front of a rookie and challenges Jaewoo. Seeing his huge size, Jaewoo starts to get nervous and plans to quickly log out of the game this time. But the button is crossed out, which makes him thank Aquila sarcastically as he begs them for a little rest of 1 minute. But he don't listen and quickly attacks Jaewoo, who calls his fate cursed for ending up in such situation. But since it has come to this, he plans to settle it properly. He grabs his arm and by his clothes and uses the monster slam skill on him, throwing him on the ground, one-shotting him. Everyone is left speechless seeing one of their more formidable fighter get taken out like this. But they quickly cheer him up and gets in line to fight him next while he begs for some rest already. Rebes is seemingly most excited out of all of them. Jaewoo misunderstands and thinks that Rebes is showing care because he is his friend's apprentice. But Rebes declares that he wants him. He makes Jaewoo the new group leader for this battle. And we see our poor boy in the battlefield getting ready to fight with a nervous and shocked expression. We see a huge army leading its charge against the enemy. Everyone rushes towards the orcs. And our boy is here as well. Right now they are aligned and with the Prince-Elector's forces. Rebes explained that they are in direct standoff against the orc army of the Demon King, Pezamat. Their mission is simple: steal the enemy commander's military flag. When their forces break through the enemy formation, they squeeze through the gap and completely collapse their line. Though they are up against the proud orcs, they are not only strong, but their coordination is also best in the continent. And as for Jaewoo, He assigns him the task to stop them as the group leader. Though while fighting he calls this whole ordeal as ridiculous, because he was only planning to snag some military merit and run away. One of the orc captain is informed by his troop that their spearman is falling apart. The captain seems shocked for some reason and quickly snatches the binoculars to take a look. He watches the battle from afar and gets surprised, seeing Jae-woo and his group breaking their whole formations and wonders, what the hell is even that? Now scared, he quickly orders his troops to prepare the musket rifles. But the attack is blocked by Jae-woo and his group using shields. Jae-woo calls their attack pathetic because without rapid fire, muskets have to rotate its firing. While the second orc troops are preparing to fire, Jae-woo jumps them with his shield. With their formation now broken, Jae-woo orders his group to tear them apart. The orc flag holder is surprised to see his troop getting blasted away by a scrawny Luknig human. But he still don't plan to hand over the flag, as it's the pride history of their tribe. But Jae-woo and his team jumps him. And they do end up getting the flag, as well with everyone cheering on for Jae-woo. Now, he just have to hold out a little, and then all the military merit would be his. Suddenly, another triumphant is blown, and his men gives him the bad news. Their allies are apparently retreating, and the orc reinforcements is right in front of them. Jae-woo gets nervous. Victory was within their reach, so he don't understand why his allies retreated like that. His men asks, what should they do? Should they just toss the flag away and run? Much to his shock, though they are already surrounded by the orc reinforcement. The orc Grand General, Cao Lion, comes along telling Jae-woo that they are done for now, and if they retreat now and leave the flag, they would honor his bravery and spare their lives. Jae-woo doesn't believe his shit one bit, and instead threatens to put their precious flag in the underwear drawer of Charlotte if they come close. Cao Lion gets pissed at that for daring to put their flag in such filthy place, but Jae-woo doesn't care about the rules. If it means winning, he is willing to rub his flag all over the place. As such, Cao Lion orders his troop to prepare to fire, and Jae-woo and his group get surrounded by musket rifles. Showered with bullets, they all quickly tries to run away, barely dodging the attacks. In his previous playthrough, the orcs never let go of their flag this easily. He looks around and sees his group getting damaged with the bullets. Finding it cheating that they brought out the Grand General at this point, since there is no way he can beat him at his current fame and rank. He freezes up in his thought, questioning, what should he do now? And suddenly remembers the memories of his previous playthrough and what Aquila told him that he would die in real if he dies here. A thought which leaves him absolutely scared. His men again asks for his order, otherwise they would be wiped out, and Jae-woo grins while trembling, and starts laughing like a maniac, leaving his men to tell him that he has finally lose his marbles. This takes away the trumpet from Charlotte's hands, who warns Jae-woo that there are no reinforcements, but he replies to shut up and watch. He quickly blows it towards the orc side. His men inform him of this as well, but he tells them to just shut up and block the bullets. He calls up to Aquila telling her that they are even now, and if she got some sense, she shouldn't abandon him, since after all, he is still a VIP. Cao Lion shouts at his spearmen to charge forward, and we see Jae-woo standing right in front of the attack. The spear gets right in front of his scared face, only for the orc to be killed by someone. A horse with someone on it is seen up in the sky, and it's none other than our waifu, Valpurgis. She lands right in the middle of the orc army and tells everyone to not give up, motivating them to raise their swords up again. Cao Lion steps up, telling his troops to back off since this fight is between him and the Countess of Niederbayern. Hearing which, Valpurgis is impressed as well and goes on to attack him. They exchange blows with each other, and Jae-woo notices that they are evenly matched, and even at this early stage of the game, Valpurgis is this strong. She finally deflects one of his strike, leaving him surprised. She then jumps up and lands a kick right on his face. Callian is pushed back and starts laughing, calling Valpurgis incredible, finding her close combat to be just as impressive as her swordsmanship. He also realizes that she must be with the Sisterhood of Valfurga. It makes sense if it's that militant order, and she replies that she served God with a devout heart, an answer which seems to come as a bit of a surprise to him. But Valpurgis draws her sword again and rushes off to finish him this time. Their sword once again clashes. Callian puts some strength and pushes his swing downwards with incredible force, but she dodges and jumps up in the air. and comes down with a clean downward slash on Callian. He falls on the ground, with his last words commending Valpurgis for a good match. Seeing that their captain has fallen, all the orc soldiers starts to retreat back. Meanwhile, Jaewoo is left surprised with her strength, the fact that she can end a commander with a single strike, which he finds just as expected of Dame Valpurgis. She then walks up to him, asking if he is the leader of these mercenaries. She could feel his courage from afar and introduces herself as Valpurgis. Jaewoo shakes her hand, introducing himself as Valorstead Valor, and with a disappointed expression expresses that if she hadn't got here, they would be all dead. He forgot that he isn't Elector Steel at this moment, so he should have been more cautious, but Valpurgis asks, why is he hanging his head like this? As he looks behind, he sees his group members having a satisfied and bright smile on their faces. They hand him over the captured flag. His credibility with them also increases. He quickly remembers the things he did in this battle and starts laughing, raising up the flag and claiming it to be his, while his group tries to snap him out of his maniacal laugh. Fast forward, back at Francois' restaurant, someone comes looking for Charlotte. It seems to be a little girl, who looks quite flustered and is sweating hard. She got to know that he went to another war and concernedly asks if he is hurt anywhere, but he assures that he is fine. Valor asks if she is his daughter and Rebes replies that Charlotte is only 15, though Valor doesn't believe him. Rebes reveals that she is actually his little sister, Baptiste, who is quite angry at Valor and blames him for Charlotte's injury, who tries to calm her down, but Baptiste shuts him up. But he does clear up the confusion that it's thanks to Valor that their group came back alive. Everyone else agrees with it as well and chants his name. He starts to blush hard as well and finds it all kind of embarrassing. Suddenly, Valpurgis arrives, calling out Valor. He seems a bit confused upon seeing her here, and she seems to be in a hurry as well. We move to Harfium forward base. Valor is informed that Elector has himself summoned him. He apparently intends to reward him with military honor. She calls it quite wonderful. It's the highest honor he can receive as a mercenary, and while talking to her, Valor finds her to be a bit different from the Valpurgis he knows. She seems a bit more cheerful here. Valor replies that she seems more happier than him, and she asks him to call her by her name, and also to look around. There are soldiers around whose life were saved by his efforts. He shouldn't need any other reason to be happy. This talk with her makes him remember a memory of her, prompting him to realize that she hasn't changed, but only their relationship has. They finally arrive in the Elector's tent, with him acknowledging Valor's presence, and introduces himself as Elector Steel, Philip. Valor shows his respect, and finally realizes what it feels like to face a true guardian. The pressure is overwhelming. Philip chuckles and comments about Valor's nickname, Reaper of the Field, and calls his courage impressive, and he replies that he flatters him. Philip calls it nonsense, as a man of merit deserves recognition. He rewards his comrades with 100 florins and him 300 florins. Valor thanks him for the generosity, and Philip asks if he has any other request, and he replies that he would like to regroup with his comrades and rest at Weitenbeer. Philip calls the place quite far from the front lines, but allows the retreat and offers him a wagon as well. Philip notes that there is something else as well and asks Valor about it, who thinks that he would normally step back at this point, and takes a glance at Valpurgis. He smiles and asks Philip if he can ask him something. Philip tells him to go ahead, and Valor asks what are his thoughts on this war. His question seems to have surprised everyone around, which is something that he expected since he is a lowly mercenary asking such question. Philip reverses the question, and Valor replies that he don't see the full picture yet due to his limited perspective, but there is something that worries him. One of the king's aide mocks him for being worried about nonsense and to not run his mouth after only getting a single merit. Another one of the aide agrees, believing that Valor must have picked up some scrap information from somewhere. But Valpurgis takes his side, telling Philip that even when crossing a stone bridge, one ought to tap it first, so he should hear Valor out once. Another one of King's aides shouts at Valpurgis, calling her a lowly countess for daring to speak against the Elector. But Philip shuts him up, since Valpurgis is the niece of Elector of Bayern, so they should show her some respect. Valor finds the behavior expected, noting that even the Steel Elector cannot ignore her. And so, Philip allows Valor to speak his view on the war. And when he speaks up, that there is an ambush coming, It shocks everyone. Philip asks his basis for it, and he replies that the demon King Pezimut's main strategies have been always ambushes and betrayals. Taking the war with the Kingdom of Toa 10 years ago and the battle with Margrave Onhalt 6 years ago into account, they can deduce that in both battles, Pezimut's ambush tactics played a decisive role, and they should not overlook his other strategy, betrayal either. Philip confirms if what Valor is implying that there is a traitor among them right now, and he replies that he is merely suggesting a possibility, since it would never hurt to be cautious. His words makes Philip angry, who tells Valor that he is quite bold. The only reason his head is still attached to his body is because he is allowing it, so he should know his place. Valpurgis tries to argue back, but Valor simply replies, "Understood," interrupting her. She looks at him with concerns. While Valor leaves after apologizing for overstepping, Valor found the Elector Steel to be more suspicious. In his previous attempts he would have been more careful, yet he seems only arrogant right now. So, he finds something to be different. First, the red dragon fruits, which normally appear much later, then Valpurgis, who shouldn't have shown up yet. He finds everything to be different from his countless past runs. Just as he is about to get an idea, he hears someone calling him out. He looks back and sees none other than Valpurgis, who seems to be panting hard, and says, "I finally caught up with you." Valor is confused seeing her here while she replies that he sure moves quite fast. He asks if she is here because she is worried about him, and she affirms. Valor finds it's really adorable. She apologizes on behalf of the Steel Elector and offers to do anything else that he wants her to do. Whatever he desires. This makes him blush as he starts to stare at her thick thighs, and asks if she isn't a bit too confident. What if he asks for something outrageous? But she replies to not underestimate her. She comes from the wealthiest family in the Empire. Valor chuckles and asks, she must have lots of clothes as well, perhaps thinking something devious in mind. Suddenly, he gets what he wants and smiles, and tells her that he would like a horse and a pistol. She is surprised hearing his request, and replies, if he is sure that's all he wants, as it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and Valor says that it's fine. As his dream is to be a cavalryman, he planned to use this opportunity to learn how to ride, and the pistol, he calls that just a personal fantasy. But when asked about the tears, he replies that it's just the tears of a man. She chuckles and replies that she never met someone so humble, while Valor thinks that he had to give up on a lot of things. With all that, she says, we shouldn't just be standing around here in an excited tone, and takes up Valor's hand, telling him to come with her. He seems confused and surprised by her behavior, but blushes heavily as well. Now fast forward to some time later, the Battle of Hartheim Hill, Steel Elector Philip versus Demon King Pezimut. Phillips threatens to finally end him today, while Pezimut only makes fun of by saying that his breath is stinking from all the way there. Pezimut's aide comes along, informing him that the preparations are complete, but asks if he is seriously planning to use that maniac. Hejaz, and Pezimut gets annoyed hearing this and replies, not this again. The aide calls Hejaz too cruel. Capturing the Elector could be the key. He is a valuable hostage, so he is not sure that they could entrust that to that freak, but Pezimut replies to trust him. He would keep him under control. Speak of the devil, Pezimut's ring glows and Hejaz confirms his presence, telling Demon King that he is ready while walking on bunch of demons. Pezimut tells him to stay sharp, and he affirms while chuckling. And Pezimut once again tells him to keep it moderate. Hejaz asks if he has ever gone too far, and Demon King freaks out and replies, he always does in a frustrated manner. Hejaz gives off a playful chuckle and replies that he always keeps it moderate, and once again confirms that he would definitely keep it moderate with strong playful emphasis on the word. But his tone implies something else to Pezimut and his aide. Their faces drown in dread upon hearing Hejaz say that. We now switch scenes to Valor again, who is surprised at the horse he was given, finding his speed to be insanely fast. And it was just a spare horse. It's definitely something expected from a Bavarian noble. She even gave him an expensive potion at 1,000 florins. It's almost equivalent to the price of a whole building. Suddenly, a huge explosion occurs behind him. He realizes that it has started already and he needs to hurry up. As even someone like the Elector Steel cannot handle this war, he would probably charge in like a fool and get himself wrecked by the enemy, which is exactly what happened. We see that he was indeed betrayed for real. Philip asks his aide for his reason of betrayal and shames him for calling himself a knight of the Empire after this. But the guy mocks Philip for not understanding his situation still. He tells Philip that what he has done is conspire against the Emperor, and he realized this and cooperated with Pessimist to arrest him for treason as the Elector Steel. This whole plan, he asks Philip if it's sinking into him now on what happened. Philip replies that no one would believe such utter nonsense, but Pessimist steps on his head, asking him to open his eyes and accept reality, calling him a delusional lunatic for his arrogance. He orders his men to tie up Philip, and he starts to get scared and cries, trembles while giving out empty threats that he is an Elector Steel. Right as Pessimist orders his men again, we see Valpurgis arriving at the scene, kicking Pessimist right on the face. Leaving him annoyed, Valpurgis orders the soldiers to take this chance and get Philip out of here. Philip's aide nervously calls out to Pessimist that Philip will escape at this rate, who tells him to shut up already. He calls up Hejaz, informing her that he went her way, and he replies, "Already?" Hearing which, Pessimist asks if she is not ready, and she replies that she was just playing around a bit, so Pessimist tells her to get serious. She affirms and calls out to something. "Mealtime, boys," she says in a playful manner. They turn out to be zombie dogs. She orders them to chew up Philip, who is running for his life. We see Valor is also being chased by them, but he uses the pistol he got from Valpurgis to kill them. Valor expected Hejaz to be using zombie dogs. She wears down on her opponent's strength with those things, and then devours them slowly. One of them jumps at him from behind and grabs Valor's hand. But he pushes it back and shoots it in midair. He already knows Hejaz's fighting style. Noting how there aren't too many over here, he assumes that the rest of them must have went after Philip. But he don't care about him. What matters to him more is Valpurgis. So he hurries up again towards her. Switching scene to Philip and Valpurgis, they are also chased by lots of zombie dogs. Philip finds his mana control to be off and assumes that Pessimist must have done something to him, calling it a filthy trick. Suddenly, one of the zombie dogs attack him, and he stiffens up from shock and fear. But Valpurgis saves him by chopping of the dog's head. She then vaults on her horse and kicks the head away as well. She asks Philip on his condition, and he replies that he is fine. She informs to be extremely cautious since this area is an unexplored territory. Suddenly, he hears one of his soldiers begging him for help as he is getting chewed down by the dogs. He keeps on calling his name, but Philip doesn't do shit. Valpurgis tries to step in, but Philip asks her to leave that one behind with a trembling and terrified voice. She starts to get angry at that suggestion, and Philip calls himself special, that his live and that soldier's life carry vastly different importance. It makes Valpurgis question the duty of a noble, someone who rules over others, and regrets on not listening to Valor back then, believing that she would have handled the situation then, and it's all their fault for not listening to him. Suddenly, Hejaz arrives and grabs Valpurgis by her neck, calling her quite amusing. She also tries calling out to Philip, only for him to look at her with a betraying look. He leaves her, without even looking back. She also falls down from her horse, believing that they are doomed with an elector like him. But Hejaz disagrees, saying that you need to be that strong to be an elector. Hearing Hejaz say that, Valpurgis shouts at her to take it back. Because the title of the Prince Elector is a critical position that holds the power to choose the Emperor of the Empire, each one of them is practically a sovereign in their own Prince Electorate. It's not something to be taken lightly, but she ignores her words and orders his men to keep on tracking down Philip. She readies her whip, reminding Valpurgis that she is from Prince Elector blood as well. And if her words hit her nerve, this makes Valpurgis furious as she rushes off to attack her. But Hejaz easily dodges her punch much to her shock, and whips her from behind, finding her screaming pleasant, making her want to torment her even more. Valpurgis falls to her knees and simply takes the whipping, giving up, and sobbing, remembering Valor, and thinking that if it's him, he would have surely been able to figure a way out of this. Meanwhile, Hejaz only gets more violent, but she suddenly stops after hearing something. It's a sound of a gunshot, and when she looks back, she sees a dead zombie dog, leaving her confused for a bit, while we see Valor sneaking up behind her and punching her right in the face, sending her flying away. She crashes on the ground while we see Valor looking quite pissed. And seeing him here, Valpurgis is left relieved and speechless as well. She happily refers to him as a hero while falling down. Valor goes on to pick her up gently and carry her to the side to avoid involving her in a fight. Hijaz notes that Valor was able to kill her zombie dog and slip behind her without even her noticing, so he must not be any ordinary guy. He tells Hijaz that she is still the same creep as always, isn't she? And Hijaz asks if he even know her, referring to him as bro. Valor finds it disgusting to be called bro by her and points her weapon at her, but she smirks while acknowledging that his gun indeed has a longer range than her weapon. But her whips are still way faster than loading bullets. Valor shoots and Hijaz barely dodges his bullet and rushes towards him. She then covers him round with her whips and grabs him by the neck with it, pulling him close and head-butting him right on his face, and then using the whip to throw him back away. Smiling like a maniac and yelling that it's not over yet, barraging him with attacks, which Valor barely dodges. But he once again regains his balance and rushes towards her to attack. But she steps back and mocks him for trying to close the distance, but Valor is able to dodge her whip strikes. This surprises her greatly, because even when compared to the whole unit, her whip skills are supposed to be top-notch, yet Valor was able to dodge that and close the gap. He gets ready to shoot, but Hijaz doesn't plan to give him any room to do so and moves close in to attack with her sharp claws. But he quickly gets behind her much to her surprise and pulls out a knife, leaving her scared. He attacks her with the dagger, calling its taste quite zingy while smirking. Revealing that at his core, he is a melee fighter, Hijaz was so focused on the gunfight that she lost an eye and realizes that she needs time to recover. She takes out her wings and starts to fly away, telling Valor that she is quite busy. He tries to provoke her by calling her a scaredy cat, but she replies that taunting won't work on her. She don't do close-range fights. But Valor takes out his gun back again, saying that he is being a long-ranged fighter today. But Hijaz claims that she can dodge those bullets in mid-air quite easily. But she notices that her sense of distance is off. Her vision seems quite blurry. And with that, she is shot right in her side, blowing a piece of chunk off her body. She starts to fall down, while Valor comments that shooting bats with guns is quite satisfying feeling. Hijaz is still alive and Valor calls her a pain in the ass, but gives off an evil grin, wanting to see what kind of loot she drops for him. But she tries to seduce him by giving off a sexy pose and asking in a sexy tone if he is going to kill her. But our boy doesn't give a shit and flips her off instead, telling her to not try that bullshit with him, leaving her stumped and screaming in pain. Valor gets the notification for defeating her and also quite a bit of loot from her as well. With that, he has picked up everything and is glad that he didn't sold the potion he got from Valpurgis earlier. He plans to use it on Valpurgis, swearing that he would save her. Valor has the perfect recovery potion in his hand. It completely restores the target's physical condition. There is also a warning that it has to be applied directly to the affected area. Realizing what that means, he has to apply it directly under her armor. This leaves him embarrassed and excited. He tries to calm himself down, calling it just a medical procedure, and tries to not think anything indecent. And like that, he begins to apply the potion over her body. We now get a backstory of our boy. His father passed away from an illness when he was young, and his mother collapsed from overwork. At the age of 18, he was left all alone. A collapsed guy then complains to him that he raises hell when someone skips out on money, but then he turns around and do this to them. And Jaewoo, now 22 years old, replies that he takes all kind of jobs for money. The guy thanks him for protecting him against the loan sharks and hands over some money to Jaewoo as well, who tells him that this is only a temporary solution. If he has the money, he should pay his debt first, but the guy replies that he got a quest this week for it. Hearing this annoys and disgusts Jaewoo, but the guy explains that this week's quest would earn him around 10 million won. Jaewoo is surprised to learn that they can earn that much from playing once, and the guy replies that it's an important quest, which prompts Jaewoo to ask just what kind of game this is. The guy is surprised to learn that Jaewoo doesn't know about Guardian of Humanity, and starts explaining that it's an enormous open-world game with absolute freedom, along with having stunning female character designs that are globally acclaimed. It has over 1 billion users, a huge single-player RPG that has surpassed a total of 1 billion players. The top-ranked players earn millions easily. This quest he is doing today is also such. Jaewoo is surprised to learn that you can earn that much from playing that game, and the guy asks Jaewoo if he wants to give it a try, and he thinks for a bit, and declines, saying that he is busy today. But he suddenly gets a notification to cancel the request he had today, leaving him free for now. He decides to log in, and ended up in the game on a whim, but does find the Tekken saying, the sky seems so real to him. The streets and people also look real, making him wonder if he is really just inside a game. He then notices a street-side vendor selling fruits, and finds it quite immersive. He could even see the pores on his face, just like the real thing. He then goes on to touch his face, but the vendor tells him to let go and piss off if he has no money to buy anything. A system window shows him his current amount. Seeing how it's only 100, he decides to save it. Suddenly, a boy arrives at the stall and stares at the fruits. Jaewoo watches him as the hungry child is pulled by his mother. Jaewoo asks the vendor the cost of one apple, which is just 1 florin, so he buys the child an apple with his money. The mother and child both thanks for the precious money that he spent, and Jaewoo realizes that 1 florin is a full day's meal. They then leave with Jaewoo telling the kid to listen to his mom, as this brings back him some memories for him. Back when he lived with his mom, he was such a brat. He constantly begged for fried chicken. He smiles, calling the game kind of charming. After this, he started logging into the game every now and then. When reality got overwhelming, playing the game helped him relax. He then started logging in more often. He relieved the real-world stress. Through the game, he recharged, then lived his real life again, only to get tired again and return to the game. Sometime later, he meets Valpurgis, who heard about Jaewoo got some nice skills. She offers him to hunt some rampaging boars in the Havel forest. Seeing his mild reaction, Valpurgis asks if he is scared. But he chuckles and replies that he happened to be planning on having boar meat for dinner today, so it's the perfect timing. Valpurgis laughs hearing it, replying if only his skill matches his bravado. A bit later, we see him hunting the boar, and Valpurgis is impressed with him that he brought it down in a single strike, while Jaewoo complains that she didn't lift a finger the whole time. And she replies that he was so strong that she couldn't find the chance to step in, and suggests to form a party with her. He replies, if this isn't another contact to make him do all the work like today, leaving Valpurgis to ask if he has some trust issues, and he replies kind of, a response she finds quite funny. And when she offers to recommend him as a knight of the empire, he gets intrigued and jumps in. Sometime later, we see people chanting Jaewoo's name. Valpurgis calls him impressive as always for making it this far and asks, how does he feel? At this point, he became the Elector Steel. He replies that it's not his achievement alone. If she hadn't spoken to him that day, he would have never seen this. But she replies that these are the people that he saved, and the peace he brought. And everyone down there are his loyal citizens. As we see, there is a huge number of people rooting for him. Back to the present time, Valpurgis calls Valor truly something. She might have not lived that long, but she has never seen someone as much dedication to everything as him, and asks him his reason for that, and he replies, because he loved this world so much. She chuckles hearing that, and Valor continues that he first realized how beautiful the sky can be. Other than the slight ache in his face, it's pretty nice. Valpurgis laughs hearing that, and replies that he shouldn't have taken her armor off then, which Valor calls to be unavoidable. Regardless, she informs that they would be at Valpurga Convent soon. Valor agrees that they have to inform them that she is alive quickly. Valpurgis promises to repay his kindness back when she returns, expressing that she owes him more than she can express in words. With a sharp grin, Valor replies that he looks forward to that, and Valpurgis calls him out for being pervy again. But even though it might not be from her, she tells him that he would get reward from the convent. But Valor replies that it's great, but what he wants is her, leaving her to threaten Valor with a smack again. Now fast forward to the Valpurga convent. Valpurgis seems to be arguing about something to Angela, who replies that it cannot be helped. Their convent is under emergency lockdown, so Valor may not enter here. After being declined to enter the convent, we move to a inn near Reinfelden. Valor is resting there, finding the whole ordeal to be a mess. He was planning to demand the heart of the angel from the convent should he got inside. That thing is an artifact passed down for hundreds of years in the Valpurga convent. It's a sacred S-rank item brimming with the blessing of a goddess. It has the ability to call back the user's soul. It's just like having one more life. It was a must-have thing for him at the moment where he would die in real if he dies in game. Suddenly, Valpurgis enters his room, seeing whom he is slightly surprised and curious. She apologizes for having him stay at such a shabby place despite being their honored guest. And while speaking, she notices something peculiar, which is the way Valor is lying. So she asks, "What is he doing?" And he replies that he is thinking. Coming up close, she plans to tell him something serious and really confidential, and Valor replies that he would keep it a secret for his life. She sits down, satisfied with his answer, replying that she knew she could trust him with this. And with a bit of hesitancy and difficulty, she speaks up, revealing that the High Abyss has fallen to darkness. Hearing it surprises Valor, who argues that he just met Abbess Angela a little while ago, but Valpurgis is confused hearing that, replying whom he met was Deputy Abbess. The current High Abbess is Lady Margarita. It comes as a great shock to him. Valpurgis continues that there must be a traitor from within, assuming it to be the doing of Pesamut. Meanwhile, Valor starts to black out upon hearing that Margarita is still alive. He is unable to hear Valpurgis while deep in his thoughts. He thought that she died long ago, and hadn't paid any attention to it ever since. She is unparalleled in martial prowess in Imperial history and can even casually subdue low-ranking demon kings. She is the icon for strength. She is also the very figure who turned the whole Valpurga convent into a military force, so he wants to absolutely save someone like her. He suddenly stands up in excitement, leaving Valpurgis surprised, who nervously asks, what has gotten into him all of a sudden? He confirms with her once again with a happy face, if the High Abyss was struck by darkness, and Valpurgis affirms. So, he asks her to go immediately with him, claiming that he knows darkness better than anyone around. We now switch scene to inside of Valpurga convent. Abbess Angel is informed that Valor knows about darkness, though she is still much doubtful about that. Valpurgis assures that Valor is a man worthy of trust, and requests to try to trust him just this once at least. But Abbess Angel doesn't look too keen on doing that from her expressions, and tells Valpurgis that she seems to have told Valor quite a bit about their situation, while Valor feels the intense tension in the air. Brimming with anger, she scares both of them, reminding Valpurgis that she should know that this incident was caused by a traitor. And yet right now, she wants him to trust in complete outsider. She calls him someone not even worth listening to, and to be escorted out immediately. Valpurgis tries to argue back, but Valor stops her with a smile. Now speaking to Angela, informing her that he heard about High Abyss being in critical condition, and Angela replies that it's of no concern for an outsider such as him. But he asks her to at least hear him out, revealing that he has read the Seven Demons Gospel. Hearing which greatly shocks Angela, who nervously asks Valor, how does he know about that? It's the very book written directly by Saint Antonio. Valor replies that she seems to know about it as well. It's the book which details everything there is about darkness. It has full account of the 7 demon kings, who are sealed and erased from the world, including thrashing death, one of the great force of darkness. Hearing all this leaves Angela sweating, who is unable to believe it. She demands to know how he came to know about the book. Valor replies that just speaking of its name brings a curse, so it's difficult for him to talk about it. But he still requests her to trust him. He understands how to oppose the darkness in great detail. He puts Angela in quite the spot while grinning like a maniac, who finally agrees. But in exchange, she wants him to take this secret to his grave. But if he dares to speak about it to others, she would make sure to bury him at the bottom of the river. A bit later, we see him walking along with a bunch of nuns, and questions, what kind of insane convent is this? Angela shattered a desk with her pure grip strength, and also the weird smell of sweat around him. He has also never seen Margarita in person or her face before, but he does know that she can at least do 2 tons on the big 3 exercises. His scared expression is noted by Valpurgis, who asks about it, and he assures her that he is fine. He also asks Valpurgis if that type of physique also her goal, and she replies that she would like that, but her uncle is against it, so she is holding back, which Valor finds relieving to hear. They finally arrive at the place. Demonic energy seeps out and is overwhelming, so she warns Valor to not lose his mind in it, while ordering everyone else to stay put. She goes on to open the gate, and a huge amount of demonic energy rushes out from it. Valor finds it to be incredibly strong and asks Valpurgis if she is okay. and she replies she is as she got the goddess's blessing and asks about him instead. Valor also replies that he is fine, his mind is being protected from it. She then introduces him to the High Abbess, seeing whom Valor is left quite shocked. Wondering, is she the one with the most overwhelming strength in history, the High Abbess of the Valpurga convent? She seems much opposing to the statements about her. Making Valor asks Angela if she was kidnapped or something, leaving her confused. She asks him to take it seriously. Why else would they request help of a mercenary like him? They have already tried various methods to help her, but nothing worked. He is their last resort now. She is willing to pay any price if he can save the High Abbess, but first thing he requests is to be put down, and she apologizes for her behavior. After seeing her in person, Valor notes that she is critically ill. As a priestess, the rate at which she is being consumed is double that of a normal person. The black veins reaching her neck are proof, but he tells them that there is still a way to save her. Angel again lifts him up hearing that, requesting to tell them immediately, though he gets annoyed by her, so she quickly puts him down back again. The method to save her is simple. He asks them to use the convent's holy relic on the High Abbess.